Like I said last week, I don't want to overreact, but CJ Stroud is looking like the best quarterback this league has ever seen, doing so much with so little. Let's just break down all the games this week and find out how he got here. Thursday Night Football is where we're going to start as always. This one, the Carolina Panthers versus Chicago Bears. The Bears winning this one 16-13. It was a nothing burger. Carolina's tanking for Chicago. Chicago's tanking for themselves. It was just an overall rough game when you look at it, and it was just a nothing burger. Just really seeing how the rookies are playing, and even that wasn't great. Up next, we might have seen the last of the hoodie, maybe? Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots losing in Germany to the Indianapolis Colts 10-6. It was an ugly game, but the Patriots finding ways to lose. Welcome to Ineptitude. Bailey Zappi doing a fake spike interception. It was absolutely ugly. Meanwhile, the Colts, great job winning a game, but you had no drive, no inspiration, no purpose in this game. Get better on that, and maybe you'll be in the conversation of playoffs. Up next, we have one of the best games of the 1 p.m. window. The Cleveland Browns beating the Baltimore Ravens by a final score of 33-31. This game was tight. Baltimore jumped ahead early. They were up 17-3 at one point, 14-0 at one point. And then they started falling off. The Browns, meanwhile, really doing a great job of staying in it offensively, just not giving up hope. And defensively, they were able to do everything they could to stay in it. Meanwhile, the Ravens, you choked. I mean, you have a rebound on Thursday against the Bengals, maybe, but the Bengals also lost. No spoiler alert there, but yeah. So you're going to be playing a tough Bengals team as well. So Baltimore, get your act together, because the AFC North is yours to lose. Speaking of the Bengals, we have the Houston Texans beating the Cincinnati Bengals in an incredible shootout at the very end, 30-27. Texans win. CJ Stroud leading another game-winning drive. Oh my gosh. CJ Stroud winning games with no supporting cast. He has Dalton Schultz, Tank Dell, and that's about it in terms of notable receivers. And that defense ain't real great either. But CJ Stroud is finding ways to be him and win the game for him. CJ Stroud is looking like the best quarterback. Right now, he is in the MVP conversation for me. He is like top 5 in the MVP race. Not just Rookie of the Year, but in the entire MVP race. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, tough loss against a young rookie. Defensively, you really could have done a bit more, but offensively, you floundered early, which got you into that situation. Nice recovery, but tough loss in general for you. Let's just go ahead and get this next game out of the way as quickly as possible. It was supposed to be a highly touted game of two teams that were going to try to get back on track, and the Jags trying to stay hot, the Niners trying to get back, but no. San Fran dominated, 34-3. It was bad. Jacksonville, that was awful. San Fran, nice recovery. Chase Young looking amazing on that defensive line. Overall, looking like a solid team now in San Fran. Up next, we have the New Orleans Saints losing to Josh Dobbs and the Minnesota Vikings 27-19. Josh Dobbs is looking like him in Minnesota. Josh Dobbs, the feel-good story this year. And man, he is doing wonders in Minnesota. Doing another great job. Even though you almost blew it in the second half, you did just enough. New Orleans, great effort, but, you know, when Derek Carr gets injured again, you're going to have problems. You were already having problems before them, but just Derek Carr leaving did not help. Up next, we had one of the greatest games on Sunday. Steelers going to the Super Bowl, baby! Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Green Bay Packers 23-19. That was a great game. Back and forth, both sides. The Steeler football carries them, and Kenny Pickett in the offense actually looked good. They scored on their first 3 drives. I don't think I've ever seen that out of the Steelers in the last couple of years. And man, that was a breath of fresh air for this Steelers offense. Yeah, they struggled after the first 3 drives, putting up 17 points. But man, nice job doing what you gotta do in order to keep in the game. And man, that was a great effort by the Steelers. Packers, you experienced Steeler football. You tried hard, but you experienced Steeler football. It's tough for you. Where do you go from here at 3-6? I mean, you did not expect to be this far back. But this is life in the NFL. You lose a superstar quarterback, you're not guaranteed another superstar quarterback like you had in the past. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely dominating Will Levis and the Titans 20-6. Oh my gosh. Tennessee, that was embarrassing. That was absolutely embarrassing, and it was awful. Tampa Bay, nice bounce back. You were on a bit of a skid there, but nice bounce back to get back into it. You played well, you did what you gotta do, and you look good doing it. Nice job. Keep that rolling into next week. Up next, we have the return of K1 himself getting the victory, 25-23 over the Atlanta Falcons. The Cardinals doing a nice job, and Kyler Murray looking solid in his return. Meanwhile, Atlanta, you gotta tear it all down. You got nothing to build off of. Fire Arthur Smith, clean house, reset, because you're clearly not doing anything with what you got right now. Please, for the love of football, just do that for us. That would be amazing. Up next, we have the offensive shootout of the week. The Detroit Lions beating the Los Angeles Chargers 41-38. That was a shootout. Oh my gosh. Amon-Ra St. Brown too having himself a day, just balling out. Oh, that felt good to watch. Detroit, you're sitting nice and pretty. You're looking great. The defense needs to be doing a better job though if you want to be like top tier contenders. But overall, you're looking good. You're showing that you have a potent offense. Your defense is a little lackluster at times, but still you can get the job done. Meanwhile, Los Angeles, the Chargers, solid job offensively. Once again, your defense proved to be the weakness, and that was a tough pill for you to swallow. But you're looking all right. You're not sitting hateful right now. What else could we have expected out of this next game? Dallas beating the Giants 49-17. Let's move on. Up next, we have the Washington Commanders falling to the Seattle Seahawks in the waning seconds, 29-26. Another tight field goal game. Oh man, Washington, you always got to play it close when it comes to Washington. But they are a very pass-heavy team. Sam Howell looking solid in the passing game. Overall, he had, I think it was like 41 pass attempts or something like that. It was insane. Washington just throws the ball without having big weapons. Imagine if this Washington team had, let's say, I don't know, a Tyreek Hill, a Jalen Waddle, something like that, a Stephon Diggs even. I mean, this team would be absolutely dangerous. Defensively, they'd be lacking, but offensively, they would be lights out. Meanwhile, Seattle, you had the talent to dominate this game, and you could not do that. Your offense struggled to generate points early on in the game, and it just was not pretty for Seattle. You get a win, yes, but it was ugly. It made me want to vomit. Up next, we have the New York Jets falling to the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football, 16-12. This game scoring only 28 points. It was bad. And man, Vegas, you did what you got to do. You got the run game going after the first quarter, and that's what led to your touchdown drive. And you did a great job squaring up against that defense of the Jets. That effort, if you do that on any other defense, you're putting up 20, 24 points. No doubt in my mind. Meanwhile, the Jets, your offensive ineptitude was put on full display once again. Basically, the Jets are an enigma. They have talent across the board, all over the board, except the offensive line and right now quarterback. If they had a better offensive line at a couple places and a better quarterback, oh my gosh, this team would be lights out. They'd be winning games. They would be sitting right now really pretty in the playoff picture. So it's a tough loss for the Jets to take, but Rodgers is hinting at maybe a mid-late December return if the Jets are still in it. So maybe that does enough to get the Jets sneaking into the playoffs as a wild card spot. But you gotta stay in the race for that to happen. Up next, we have an absolute thriller of a Monday Night Football game. It was not expected to be this close, but man, the Buffalo Bills falling to the Denver Broncos on a game-winning field goal by a final score of 24-22. Buffalo, what is going on in there? I don't know what's happening, but Buffalo is falling apart at the seams in front of us. Meanwhile, Denver is starting to rally back, looking like maybe trying to make a push into the playoff picture a little bit here as we get into the stretch of the season where everything's going to be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Broncos do the next couple weeks. They have Russell Wilson, who's looking a lot better. Offensively, they still have a lot to be desired, not getting a lot of points whenever they were starting in the Bills territory, or when they were in Bills territory, not getting a lot of points off of it, but still doing just enough to get the win tonight. Buffalo, though, you got to have a serious look in the mirror. You have had a bunch of losses against very, very beatable opponents, and now you're sitting at 5-5, and you're a full game out of the playoff picture at this point, behind Houston, half a game behind Houston, and a game and a half behind Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Not to mention the fact that Miami's going to start running away with the division here in the next couple weeks, and there are some serious questions to be had in Buffalo as to what you do going forward. Well, that's about going to do it for you today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe. It does help me out a whole lot. It tells me that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And I guess with that, make sure if you haven't already, check out our predictions video for the week so you can see just how wrong I was this week. And with that, I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.